This is Graven Hill, a brand new estate on the edge of Bicester, where 2,000 homes are being built. But it's not like any other housing estate. It's unique that 70% of these homes are going to be self-built homes, designed and built by their own owners. And it's also the place where two journeys have come together. The journey of Orchard Baptist Church and the journey of Helen Baker and her husband, Nick. In 2018, Orchard Baptist Church called Helen to be the community minister here on Graven Hill, and at the same time purchased a plot of land here where Helen and Nick have been building their own home. So I'm here today to hear more about the calling and story of Orchard Baptist Church and Helen, but also to find out how the build has gone and hear the grander design of God for Helen, Orchard Baptist Church and the people of Graven Hill. So we're sitting here on the steps of Great Misselden Baptist Church. Is this where it all began?
It really began before this, because I was an atheist for my first 39 years, and so I always saw church from the outside. And then when I was ministering here and I was helping this church community to think about being more outward looking, and I recognised that that's where my skills and passion lie too. And I realised that I really wanted to be outside the walls of church, working with the people who would never come into church. And it became very apparent to me that the church needs to go to the people. The people aren't going to come into the church. We need to take the love of Jesus to the people who don't know him.
Tell me a bit about the story when you were looking out the window and seeing people walk past.
A lot of my time was taken up with writing sermons, and really often while I was at my desk I'd be watching the people walking past the window and thinking how much I'd love to be out there talking to them rather than behind a desk inside my office.
So your ministry here looks very different now to your ministry over in Graven Hill.
So on Graven Hill, what I'm doing now means that I'm showing the love of Jesus to people all the time, people who don't know him and don't even know they want to know him.
So Steve, apparently Bicester is one of the fastest growing towns in Europe.
Well, there's 14,000 new homes going up over 20 years. We're almost halfway through that, and 4 new estates, so yes, huge growth.
So when did you arrive in Bicester?
I came in 2010, 10 years ago.
So you've been watching some of these homes being built?
Yes, yeah, there's huge development. I think probably about 30 to 40% of the homes are now up.
So why has Orchard Baptist Church been looking at some of these estates, thinking about what they can do missionally in them?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that these estates had a Christian witness, that there were Christians who took ownership for these estates and took responsibility for reaching out to friends, neighbours. So yeah, and we've done that with other churches in Bicester.
So you've got good relationships with other churches?
Really good relationships, and actually we've decided to take a different lead on different estates. So we're taking the lead on Graven Hill, but other churches are taking a lead on the other estates.
And Stephen, I know you've been quite involved at the beginning, but you had a vision or a passion for the importance of doing something on these new estates.
Yeah, I mean, partly people moving onto new estates, one of the key moments in lives, and actually people change their habits when they move onto a new estate. Some people who've been going to church stop. Lots of people who've been maybe take it up again. It's just a key moment in people's life experience, so we didn't want to miss that.
So your thinking changed over the years, because we're going back about 10 years when you began to think about what you might do on one of these estates somewhere. So your thinking has gradually kind of changed from maybe a building to a person?
Yes, I think we were trying to work out what was the best way of being missional. If you wait year after year after year till you can be there, you become an add-on or a late arrival. Whereas I think we realised that if you could have somebody who was focused on the community, therefore focused on building kingdom rather than building a building, if that makes sense,
yeah.
As early as possible, then that would be key to the effectiveness of the mission of the church in that situation.
So at some stage, you led the church through to advertising for a community pioneer kind of minister, which is very different to our normal kind of Baptist ministers. How did that journey go?
Gosh, well, it's a long journey, but we've had input from people like Chris Duffett and Ali Bolton, and we've learnt a lot. We've learnt from our own experience on Kingsmere, and we got to a point where we really needed to make a decision and take a step. We produced a paper that outlined our possibilities. It was a huge step for the church, but an amazing thing happened in a couple of meetings, first with the leaders and then with the church, where we just sensed that God was saying that we should do this.
Yeah, we were conscious we needed to pray into it, which is an easy thing to say. I mean, we had church meetings where we really did pray into it.
So how did you find Helen?
It was quite a specific job role, so we wanted someone who was really community focused, wanted someone who'd gone through some spiritual formation, but also the added bonus, and this wasn't a must, but was someone who might be able to build a house.
Yes.
And actually Helen has those qualities, but even more so her husband Nick also has those qualities. So it was amazing, and just the right person, and God had been preparing her for this as well as preparing us for her coming.
So we're sitting in Graven Hill now, Helen. Tell me a little bit more about this estate and why it's so unique.
This is the only self-build estate in the country. In Holland they're doing more of this, but over here there's never been an estate that is majority builders coming in and building their own house rather than companies coming in and building their own, an estate of houses. So each plot that's a self-build plot is bought by an individual who then sees the whole journey of building their own unique house onto that plot. And that's never been done here before.
But it's not just self-builders here, is it?
It's not just self-builders here. We've also got 30% of houses which are affordable homes, so they're social housing. And some of those are shared ownership homes, some of those are rented, and that's one of the things about this estate that's really nice, is the broad number of people and the type of people that live here.
So how did Orchard Baptist Church come to buy the plot that you've got now?
Well, Graven Hill have a plot shop. So we went in and we had a look at the plots that were available in our price range, and we chose the one that's really in the centre of everything. So we're near to the school, we're near to where the community centre is going to be, there's a swing park nearby, and it means that I can be close to everything that's going on in Graven Hill.
So that worked out really well.
It's worked out really well already, even though a lot of those things aren't there yet because they haven't been built. It also means that I'm in the centre of what's going on already. So everybody knows where my house is. It's easy to get to for all the people who want to come along to it. And so that's worked out really well for us too.
And the church have called you as community minister to be here. Yes. What does that look like? What does that mean?
Really, for me, it means about living incarnationally. I'm not in any way different to any other resident on Graven Hill. I'm a resident and I'm a Christian, and the two are not mutually exclusive in any way. So although I'm community minister and I'm known by most of the people on the estate as their minister, which is really appreciated, I'm also a resident. So I understand what it's like to live here. I understand what it's like to be woken up by cement lorries at 7:30 in the morning. I understand the frustrations of building a house yourself. And I understand what it's going to be like to be a part of this emerging community as we grow together.
So Nick, when did the foundations go down for your house?
It was around October in 2019.
October 2019, and
Yeah.
and I assume then brick by brick gradually it's been built. Is that the case?
The foundations lay sort of fallow, if you like, for a little while, because the house that we bought is built in a factory in Poland and shipped over on trucks.
Oh, crumbs.
And so there was a period of time before the house actually arrived, which was in middle of January.
So how does this house actually arrive then?
It arrives on the back of 5 trucks, driven over from Poland, and 1 truck at a time comes with a big crane, and they literally crane the walls and doors into place with the windows already in. And it takes about 50 days from the first lorry arriving to the house being completely finished. Tiling, flooring, windows, door handles, bathrooms, the whole lot. The only thing they don't do is the kitchen.
So you're telling me that in a month and a half, this house just had a foundation and then it was fully built and you could move in?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
These guys, Danwood, do an amazing project where you can buy a house and they will finish it for you completely apart from the kitchen.
So Nick, what was your role in this project?
Well, obviously Helen was appointed into her formal role at the church, and I come with her. I'm sort of the vicar's wife, and I'm not good at scones and things like that, so I decided I'd had to get involved in another way. So we formed a small team within the church, and I agreed to sort of be the project manager of the whole thing.
So if Nick was managing the project, what was your role then, Helen?
So I was really busy getting to know people here while Nick was building foundations and digging lots of holes. I was here getting to know people and doing a lot of chatting and drinking a lot of tea.
And I've noticed that, you know, when a house is going up, there's a lot of attention. Was there a lot of attention around your house, and did you get to know your neighbours because of that?
Yeah, definitely. And people love, whenever a Danwood house is going up, you get people on site coming over to watch, because it's a spectacular thing to see pieces of house being craned over into position. So you often get people walking their dogs and they stop and chat and congratulate you, because there's a real understanding that it's a really big deal when your house is actually going up and you're getting close to moving in. Yeah.
So Helen, this is it. All done.
Yep.
All designed, all built.
Yeah.
Wonderful to be out. I love it. I love the light. I love the space. I just love the way the space works for you.
Yeah,
really
it's really been successful. We designed it to be a place of hospitality and a place where groups could come and feel at home, and it's really worked well for that. So I spend a lot of time here doing meals and meeting with people and having people in. Yeah, really good.
So the house is now built, but actually that's just the beginning, isn't it, really? There's so much more. There's a grander design that God is building here on Graven Hill, and you as community minister have a wider ministry that's going to take place.
Absolutely, yeah. So God called me here to live incarnationally among the people here, and this home is the hub of that. I'm involved in a lot of events that happen here. I've organised things through the seasons. We've had Easter egg hunts, we've had remembrance services, we've had Christmas carols. All of those are things that a minister can organise, which really help to bring the community together. And they've been very important for building unity here. What we're doing here is we are building gospel values into the foundations of this community.
So what I also love is that sense of these two journeys coming together, Orchard Baptist Church and Helen and Nick Baker, serving God together in this estate.
Yeah, and it's really important to understand that Orchard Baptist Church haven't just been a financial support or a small support. In fact, the individuals in the Baptist Church have been so great in the support that they've given me in individual events, in their expertise and the things they've brought to this estate to serve the estate. And of course, on top of that, we're talking about a collaboration with the Baptist Union and the wider Baptist family, because it's together with all of us that the Home Mission grant has come in, and it's allowed us to recognise that we do these things together as a whole Baptist family to bring the gospel to the people here on Graven Hill.
So this is the house that Helen and Nick and Orchard Baptist Church have built. But it's not just a house. They're continuing to build a home. A home not just for themselves, but a home for anyone in the community to come and be part of. They're building gospel values into the foundation of this community. And we as Baptists together can be part of this great initiative of what God is building, his grander design here on Graven Hill. If you give to Home Mission, thank you, thank you, thank you, because you're enabling initiatives, new and exciting initiatives all around the country to happen like this.